A very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you, and here are this morning's headlines. India hits back at China over giving Chinese names to parts of Arunachal Pradesh, says the renaming does not make illegal territorial claims legal. India keeps a close watch on US restrictions on H-1B visas. Jaitley on a 5-day visit to the US, likely to take up the matter with the Trump administration. Two factions of AIA-DMK wrangling over a merger. Paneerselvam camp seeks proof of expulsion of Sasikala and Dinakaran. Palanisamy camp forms panel for talks. Last day of campaigning for the MCD polls in Delhi. Delhi High Court to hear plea on the use of VVPAT-equipped EVMs in the city's civic polls. And a shooting in central France days ahead of presidential polls. One policeman dead, 2 others injured. A lone gunman killed by the security forces. Islamic State claims responsibility. Our top story this morning: expressing displeasure over China renaming 6 places in Arunachal Pradesh, the MEA has responded that inventing names of states of a neighbor will not make illegal occupation as legal. MEA spokesperson Gopal Bagle also asserted that Arunachal Pradesh is an integral part of India. On Wednesday, China announced that it has standardized official names of 6 places in Arunachal Pradesh, terming the provocative move as a legitimate action. China's moves comes days after Beijing lodged a strong protest with India over the Dalai Lama's visit to the state.
If you rename or invent names for the towns of your neighbor, it doesn't make illegally held territory legal. So Arunachal Pradesh has always been an integral part of India, and it will continue to be so.
On to the other top story. Well, amid rising concerns over H-1B visas, the government on Thursday said that the country is going to take up the matter with the US administration. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, currently on a visit to the United States, is likely to take up the matter with the American administration. During an event in the national capital, Commerce Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that the US had committed certain number of these visas to India at the World Trade Organization, and that we would definitely want America to honor that commitment. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley is on a 5-day visit to the United States to participate in the spring meetings of the World Bank and IMF. During his stay, he will also hold meetings with American CEOs and institutional and pension fund investors, where he is expected to pitch India as a favorable investment destination.
Many of the countries have given their commitments to the WTO. For instance, in the H-1B visa case, the US has committed a certain number even in the WTO, and therefore we can question them if they don't stick to those numbers. The kind of dividend that countries, emerging economies have, both in number of people and also trained people, professionally qualified people, being able to serve that, and the investment in these developed countries. In the last 2 or 3 decades, having not been going to create such professionals, is now being used as an argument saying you're taking away our jobs, which is not true at all. You don't have such personnel.
News from Tamil Nadu, where the political drama within the AIA-DMK continues. OPS camp is now insisting on a precondition that the merger between the two factions of the party is only possible when an affidavit stating the removal of Sasikala and his nephew Dinakaran from the party is submitted to the Election Commission. The OPS faction has also demanded a CBI probe into the circumstances leading to J. Jayalalitha's death. Meanwhile, the EPS faction has responded as saying that the OPS camp should first take its complaint back regarding the party's 2 leaves symbol issue. In some other related developments, the Delhi police yesterday summoned Dinakaran for bribing the Election Commission officials.
There is more trouble for the beleaguered Deputy General Secretary of AIDMK, TTV Dinakaran. Delhi police has served a notice to him in a case of alleged bribery to the Election Commission officials and has summoned him to appear before the crime branch on Saturday. The midnight summon to Dinakaran came just hours after he claimed to step aside to pave the way for a merger of the rival AIDMK factions, saying the rebellion against him was out of fear. However, his stepping aside doesn't seem to be enough for the O Pannirselvam faction, which is demanding resignations of not just Dinakaran, but also jail Party General Secretary Sasikala.
We want him to be out with the resignation letters stating that I am not a Assistant General Secretary. And we want Sasikala also to get removed from the party and also from the membership. Okay, so that is our first demand, but that has not happened. They said they're just going away, but we wanted them to totally get removed from the party. And the second demand is probe needs to be organized for Amma's mysterious death.
Meanwhile, senior AIDMK leader M. Thambidurai and State Minister D. Jayakumar met the governor, C. Vidyasagar Rao, separately amid reports that the Pannirselvam camp may pitch his name for Tamil Nadu Chief Minister after the merger. However, Thambidurai insisted that the meeting was just a courtesy call.
Governor ஒரு மரியாதை நிமித்தமாக சந்தித்தேன் வழியே வேற ஒன்றும் கிடையாது. கவர்னர் எனக்கு ஒரு நண்பர். நான் 98-99 முதலே மத்திய அமைச்சராக இருக்கும் பொழுது அவர் பாராளுமன்ற உறுப்பினராக இருந்தார்.
The AIADMK faction, led by former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister O. Pannirselvam, also held a meeting to chalk out a strategy for talks with the other group, led by Chief Minister E.K. Palanisamy. The OPS faction has rubbished reports of Pannirselvam demanding the CM's post, saying that they are sticking to their original demands, only after which a merger can take place.
இந்த இரண்டு கோரிக்கை நிறைவேற்ற வேண்டும் என்று நாங்கள் கேட்கிறோம். இதற்கு இடையில் இதை வைத்துக்கொண்டு இதை எப்படியாவது இவர்களிடத்திலே இருந்து நாம் வெளியேற வேண்டும் என்பதற்காக இன்று இருக்கின்ற முதலமைச்சர்.
The opposition DMK meanwhile has slammed the latest rumblings within the AIDMK, accusing the leaders of ignoring governance and indulging in selfish politics.
They are not doing anything to alleviate the problems faced by the people of Tamil Nadu. Nobody is bothered about them. They are only bothered about settling their internal squabbles and ensure how to safeguard, their money which they have looted from the state of Tamil Nadu. We cannot deny the fact that there is this invisible hand of the central government which is playing out in the form of these mergers, these splits and everything.
Reports claim disagreement between the Pannirselvam and Palanisamy camps over the allocation of portfolios in case of a merger. As per reports, both camps want their respective leaders to be the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, with the Palanisamy camp arguing that it would not be prudent for the state to have its fourth CM in 6 months. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some other news, Bihar Chief Minister and JDU Chief Nitish Kumar met Congress President Sonia Gandhi at her residence on Thursday to discuss the current political situation in the country. In the meeting, Nitish is learned to have advocated a united opposition to take on the ruling BJP ahead of the next general elections. He reportedly pushed for forging a grand alliance of the opposition parties at a national level on the lines of Mahagathbandhan in Bihar. The JDU also called for a joint opposition candidate for the election to the president's post and urged Sonia Gandhi to take the lead in the matter. Congress is a partner in the Bihar government with the Nitish's JDU and Lalu Prasad's RJD. Calling it a courtesy visit, the party spokesperson K.C. Tyagi, however, denied that there was any talk about a grand alliance in the meeting.
श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी हमारे बिहार के गठबंधन की सबसे सीनियर लीडर हैं। नीतीश कुमार जी शहर में थे और शिष्टाचारवत उन्होंने श्रीमती गांधी से बातचीत की। अभी महागठबंधन जैसी या प्रेसिडेंट के चुनाव जैसी किसी विषय पर कोई चर्चा श्रीमती गांधी के साथ नहीं हुई।
Ahead of the next hearing in the Vijay Mallya extradition case on 17th of May, India has said that it is in touch with the UK government. MEA spokesperson Gopal Bagle said that the Indian High Commission in UK is following the case with the British government. He also added that an internal process is on in the UK in response to India's extradition request. The 61-year-old liquor baron wanted in India for defaulting on bank loans was arrested after he appeared at a central London police station on Monday morning, but he was later released on conditional bail soon after. The UK's Crown Prosecution Service will argue the case on behalf of the Indian authorities.
Our High Commission in London has been following up the matter with the United Kingdom authorities. And this is now, as far as I know, the next date of hearing has been set for 17th of May. So the two governments will remain in touch in this regard. What I must point out that what is going on right now in the United Kingdom is their internal process in response to the extradition request made by the Indian government. So we'll remain in touch in that regard.
News from the national capital. The Delhi High Court will today hear a plea on electronic voting machines. The Aam Aadmi Party, remember, on Tuesday had approached the Delhi High Court for using EVMs attached with a voter-verified paper audit trail or the VVPAT machines in the city's civic polls scheduled for 23rd of April, to which the Delhi High Court had responded as saying that it cannot issue directions in this regard unless it has information about the availability of VVPATs with the Election Commission. The High Court bench had also issued a notice to the Election Commission of India and the Delhi State Election Commission. Now, they have been asked to file their responses on the Aam Aadmi Party's plea for the use of VVPAT-enabled Generation 2 or Generation 3 EVMs for the MCD polls. Meanwhile, as the curtains fall for the MCD polls campaigning today, leaders of various political parties, including those from the Aam Aadmi Party, BJP and the Congress, have stepped up their efforts to woo voters through their rallies, audio-video messages, as well as the door-to-door canvassing. The national capital will vote for 272 wards of the 3 municipal corporations on 23rd of April. Counting of votes and announcement of results will take place on the 26th of April. EU Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini will arrive in Delhi today. During her 2-day visit, she is likely to push for a resumption of talks for the India-EU Free Trade Agreement. Mogherini will meet External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj to discuss preparations for the annual India-EU Summit, which is scheduled to be held in Delhi later this year. She is also expected to hold delegation-level talks with Minister of State for External Affairs M.J. Akbar, covering bilateral, regional and global issues. She is also slated to meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi later. However, the main focus of her visit is to push for early resumption of talks on the Free Trade Pact between the two countries. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been featured in Time magazine's 100 Most Influential People list. Along with the Prime Minister, who is a regular on the Time list, Paytm founder Vijay Shekhar Sharma too has made the cut. Sharma, riding high on the digital economy wave in India, has been featured in the Times list under the Titans category. US President Donald Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin and British Prime Minister Theresa May have also been featured in the 100 Most Influential People list. Well, Times 100 Most Influential People list features pioneers, artists, titans, leaders and icons from around the world, honored for the power of their inventions, the scale of their ambitions, the genius of their solutions to problems that one before them could not solve. The Central Board of Secondary Education, or the CBSE, has warned schools affiliated to it against the sale of books, uniforms and stationery. It reminded them that educational institutions are not commercial establishments. The board also issued an advisory following complaints from parents and stakeholders that schools were selling books, uniforms within the school premises or from selected vendors. The CBSE also told the schools to stick to books published by the NCERT, or the National Council of Educational Research and Training. In an advisory sent to the schools, the CBI said, and I quote, "The board has taken a serious view of the complaints and the schools are directed to desist from the unhealthy practice of coercing parents to buy textbooks, notebooks, stationery, uniforms, shoes, school bags, etc. from within the premises or from selected vendors only. CBSE norms mandate that schools are run as a community service and not as a business, and that commercialization does not take place in the school in any shape whatsoever." The issue was also recently raised in Parliament when Union HRD Minister Prakash Javadekar said that the NCERT textbooks have been supplied to 2,000 private schools. In Breakfast News, time for a very short break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Well, trouble continues unabated for Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Veerbhadra Singh. The Enforcement Directorate yesterday questioned him for over 9 hours in connection with a money laundering case registered against him and his family members. According to official sources, the investigating officer of the case recorded the Chief Minister's statement under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Singh is likely to be summoned again as well. The Chief Minister had last week sent a communication to the agency stating his reasons for not being able to appear before it all this while and had sought a new date from it, after which new summons were issued on Thursday. The ED had yesterday refused to give in any assurance in the Delhi High Court that it will not arrest Singh when he appears before them. The ED had filed a case under the anti-money laundering law against Singh, his family members and others after taking cognizance of a complaint which was filed by the CBI in September 2015. Yesterday, 10 suspected terrorists were held in an operation that was carried out jointly by the police teams of 5 states, including the Delhi Police Special Cell and the Uttar Pradesh Anti-Terrorism Squad, or the ATS. According to police, 4 suspected terrorists belonging to the Islamic State Khorasan module or the Afghanistan module were arrested, and 6 others were detained for interrogation. The men were arrested from Mumbai, Ludhiana and Bijnor. The suspects are alleged to be part of an IS module that is looking for potential recruits in several states, including Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra. According to sources, the group was also planning several terror strikes in many states. Raids were also carried out in Bihar's Nakariyaganj and Uttar Pradesh's Muzaffarnagar district. Besides Uttar Pradesh ATS and Delhi Police Special Cell, the Crime Investigation Department of the Andhra Pradesh Police, Maharashtra ATS, Bihar Police and Punjab Police were also part of the operation.
Self-guided, self-radicalized, अपने आप को खुद ही किन्हीं माध्यम से उन्होंने अपने आप को प्रेरित किया है और वो इस प्रकार से कोई ग्रुप बनाया है उन्होंने जिसके कारण जो मिलकर एक घटना करना चाहते थे, उसी को लेकर ये ऑपरेशन किया गया और इन लोगों की गिरफ्तारी हुई है। जैसे कि सर्वेलेंस में पाया कि ये लगातार आपस में विचार विमर्श कर रहे थे किसी एक घटना को कारित करने के लिए और उसकी तैयारी में ये लोग लगे थे।
The NGT on Thursday criticized Sri Ravi Shankar for his statement blaming the centre and the Green Panel for damage to the Yamuna floodplains. Describing the statement as shocking, the tribunal claimed the Art of Living founder has no sense of responsibility. The observations came after petitioner informed the tribunal about Ravi Shankar's statement, where he blamed the government and the NGT for permitting his NGO to hold the World Culture Festival on the floodplains of River Yamuna. The tribunal also directed Art of Living and other parties to file their replies and objections to the expert panel's report. Earlier, an expert committee told the NGT that 42.02 crore rupees will be required to restore Yamuna floodplains. Responding to the verdict of the NGT in a series of tweets, Sri Ravi Shankar has said that the Art of Living has done no wrong.
हम लोगों ने कोर्ट के आगे ये सबमिट किया है कि जो फाइनेंशियल एस्पेक्ट्स हैं उस रिपोर्ट के और जो कंक्लूजन रिपोर्ट है हमें सिर्फ पिछले ही हफ्ते दिया गया है. So we have requested for a little more time from the court to file our response to that.
एनजीटी ने जिस तरह की बयान आज की है, मुझे लगता है कि एनजीटी पूरी तरह से बायस्ड हो रही है और समझ में नहीं आ रहा ये पैनल किस तरह से काम कर रही है.
More news from across the country and nationwide. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will honour bureaucrats for effectively implementing key programs of the central government on Civil Services Day today. The Prime Minister's awards for excellence will be based primarily on excellence in implementation of 5 priority programs: Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, E-National Agriculture Market and Stand Up India. The government has directed internet service providers to block the distribution and transmission of child sexual abuse content by 31st of July this year. The directive has been issued after the recommendations of an interministerial committee that was constituted to recommend solutions to address the issue of child sexual abuse material following a Supreme Court order. Senior journalist and columnist Noora Chopra passed away at the age of 64 on Thursday in New Delhi after prolonged illness. President Pranab Mukherjee condoled the demise of the veteran journalist. Congress President Sonia Gandhi and INB Minister Venkaiah Naidu, Randeep Surjewala also condoled her demise. Meanwhile, the Press Club, Women Press Co, Press Association and other media organizations have also condoled the sudden demise. More than 14 lakh lawyers across the country are expected to observe a half-day strike to protest against the Law Commission recommendations. It includes a proposal to ban strike by the advocates. On to our top international focus now. In Paris, a police officer was killed and 2 others were wounded in a shooting claimed by the Islamic State. The gunman was later killed by the officers. President François Hollande says that he was convinced that it was a terrorist attack. The attack comes just days ahead of France's presidential election.
1 policeman shot dead and 2 others wounded in central Paris. A lone gunman opened fire at 9 p.m. local time at a police bus in Champs-Élysées. The gunman was killed as he tried to flee the scene. Islamic State said that one of its fighters had carried out the attack. Paris police say the attacker's identity is known and has been verified.
Un individu armé d'un fusil d'assaut a tiré sur des policiers qui étaient en faction au niveau du magasin Marks & Spencer sur la Champs-Élysées, entraînant donc la mort d'un policier, comme cela vient de vous être dit, et en blessant 2 autres.
After the incident, whole of the Champs-Élysées was evacuated. French President François Hollande says that he was convinced the attack was a terrorist-related. Hollande would hold a meeting of his security cabinet this morning. He said security forces had the full support of the nation and a national tribute would be paid to the fallen policemen.
À 21h précisément, sur les Champs-Élysées, une attaque est intervenue visant des policiers et le car qui les abritait. Un policier a été tué. 2 autres ont été blessés.
The attack happened even as 11 candidates standing in Sunday's elections were engaged in a final joint TV appearance to make their pitches. Several of them have ended their campaigns early as a mark of respect. At the White House, US President Donald Trump said people had to be strong and vigilant. France has been in a state of emergency since 2015 Paris attacks, which left 130 people dead. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The Pakistani Supreme Court yesterday ordered an investigation against Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif in connection with the Panama Papers case. The verdict, delivered by a 5-judge bench, was split 3-2, with only 2 judges submitting dissenting notes against Sharif, while 3 others favoured a JIT probe. The court also ordered Sharif and his 2 sons to appear before the joint investigation team that has to submit its report within 60 days. The case relates to alleged money laundering by Sharif in 1990s when he twice served as the Prime Minister to purchase assets in London. The verdict brings a temporary relief to Nawaz Sharif as at the moment he will not be disqualified as the Prime Minister. News from our other top neighbour, China, and the country successfully launched its first cargo spacecraft on Thursday, taking another step towards its goal of establishing a permanently manned space station by 2022. The Tianzhou-1 cargo resupply spacecraft was lifted off on a Long March 7 Y2 rocket from the Wenchang Space Launch Center in the southern island province of Henan. In the space, the cargo ship will dock with the orbiting Tiangong-2 Space Lab, provide fuel and other supplies, and conduct space experiments before returning. The Chinese news agency has reported that the spacecraft can carry 6 tons of goods, 2 tons of fuel, and can fly unmanned for 3 months. It is the first cargo ship independently developed by China. News from Venezuela, and the President Nicolas Maduro, in a televised address on Thursday night, said that if opposition leader Henrique Capriles had to go to jail, he would go to jail, and added that he had authorized formal claims to be brought against him. This comes a day after 3 people were killed in anti-government demonstrations in Venezuela. Protests renewed their nationwide agitation on Thursday to pressurize the government of President Nicolas Maduro to hold elections and improve country's collapsing economy.
Autorizado que se meta una demanda, una querella por el honor de la gente que ha sido acusada y que este señor que acusó de esa.
That's it from the entire breakfast news at the moment, but news and updates continue on Rajya Sabha television. Thanks for watching.